All right. Music podcast. Let's fill it out. All right, social friends, co-workers, family members, especially mine that are all spread out across the U.S. Welcome to today's live stream of Buying That House. And today I'm taking it a little bit off schedule. Most of you know who have watched my previous episodes, I tend to drop these live streams in the morning half of the day. However, nothing is better than me, I don't know, changing it up, surprising you. And there's a reason for that. It is because my guests today, let's be real, they were only available in the afternoon. So I had to accommodate them, right? It's all about, hey, you got to accommodate your guests. And that is absolutely what I am doing. Now, before I bring my guests into the studio, I know this. When you may be guesting in a live stream the first time, the second time, or the third time, there's always a little bit of nervousness. But my theory is this. My theory is when you show up, just be your genuine you. That's the only way you should be. And then here's my little secret sauce, my little secret weapon. I'm going to give a very nice, warm welcome. Ask their fans to give them a nice round of applause. So here we go. Fans of you, John and Sheila. Yes, they're calling your name. They're giving you this big conference room of applause. Yes, sir. So let's bring you in today's conversation.
All right.
Hello, John.
Hello. How are you? I just adore my fans. They're just so loyal.
Thank you.
They are so loyal. They even dressed up for you.
They did. And they just follow us everywhere.
Now, before we continue, let me also add John's other special guest, my partner in crime, well, almost every day. We don't see each other all the time, but we know in spirit we are absolutely each other's partner in crime. Let me welcome Emily into today's episode as well. Emily, how are you?
Good afternoon. Hi, I'm doing good, everyone. Thank you.
Your day has been nonstop. You're stuck in the morning, right?
Right. My day, I start early morning and then I don't remember what time it is. Okay, now it's time to do the podcast.
I know. It's the life that we live, Emily, in our crazy business. So, audience members, in today's episode, I think it's so important for those of you, yes, those of you, let me point you out, let me call you out, here we go, those of you, single guys, single mothers and females, who may be like John and Sheila, first-time home buyers. Now, let me pause right there. I'm going to drop a definition. A first-time home buyer simply means you have not owned real estate within the recent years. So you could have bought a property a long time ago, you sold it for a profit, you decided, I'm going to sit on the sidelines holding on to my cash funds until I find the next property that I just might want to call my forever home. And so for that reason, that's why I have invited John and Sheila into today's live stream conversation with Emily and myself. So John, my first question is this: what was your journey like as a first-time buyer?
Well, to be honest with you, Bill, the journey was exciting. It was heart-wrenching. It was frustrating. It was challenging. And it was, did I say frustrating? But in the end, the reward was worth the wait.
Phenomenal, yes.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And I know this, and Emily and I joke about this. It's our way of keeping ourselves sane, keeping ourselves fully committed to the outcome that all of our first-time home buyers deserve from each of us. And the journey is, like you said, John, it's a roller coaster of emotions. How would you advise the first-time home buyers who are thinking about, how do I start my journey, like this beautiful woman here? What advice would you give to those first-time home buyers as to, you know, they're scratching their head, they feel like, I think I'm ready, I think I'm willing. What would be your top 3 pieces of advice to them?
Well, I'm glad you said top 3. The first is I would contact Emily and Bill. In other words, you need to contact a loan officer or a mortgage officer to get what we call pre-approved. And that works in your favor, because if you can submit the necessary documentation and give them all of the information that's required, they can pre-approve you as opposed to pre-qualifying you. And as my wife just said,
what you qualify for.
They can help you determine how much house in terms of cost you need to look at, so that you're not wasting your time.
That's true.
You know, the other thing I would say is you need to have a good realtor. If you think about any championship team, right? You know, there's always the big 3. For the Chicago Bulls, it was Michael Jordan, it was Scottie Pippen, it was Dennis Rodman. When you look at the Lakers of old, it was Magic Johnson, it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and James Worthy. And then, you know, I can go on and on and on about that. So there's always a big 3 for a dream team, a championship team. And for us, the big 3 was having a awesome loan officer, and then also having a very attentive realtor. That's important, because
definitely looked out for us.
You definitely looked out for us. And you need somebody that's going to listen in terms of what you want, what your interests are. If you're looking for a 3-bedroom home, then your realtor doesn't need to be taking you looking at 2-bedroom homes. And so, you know, and other things. If you want specifically a 2-car garage, then the question is, why am I looking at a 1-car garage or no garage at all?
Be specific in the things that you want, so that you know once they're ready to get started, you already know what you want, and they're going to be looking to help you find exactly what you want.
So know what you want. And even if you don't know what you want, that's okay. Tell the realtor, you know what, I really don't know what I want, but what's important to me is I need to have at least 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to have at least 2 bedrooms. Okay.
Yeah.
And so they can start from there. And as you begin to look at houses, you'll begin to, within yourself, kind of by trial and error, you'll be able to come to a conclusion of what you want, okay, or what you prefer, what your preferences are,
without wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
The other person in this mix is to have a good real estate attorney.
Yes.
Let me stress that again. Real estate attorney.
Real estate attorney.
Your brother-in-law, who is a criminal attorney, you may not want to use him in your real estate dealings. Otherwise, he would treat your real estate deal like a criminal case, and you could possibly lose the whole thing. So you want to make sure you have a good real estate attorney. That's going to be very helpful on the tail end of your pursuit, because you're going to need them to go back and forth with reading the contracts, going over all of the documentation, making sure everything is in line for you to take possession of your new house. So
yes,
absolutely. Because I know, John, you and Sheila are men and women of faith. Was there at any point in your journey you doubted that you would get the outcome that you wanted?
Yeah.
Honestly, yes.
I always knew what I wanted.
Yes.
And my wife verified this, and I think she started out on the same page with me.
Yeah.
But as we began to look at what I wanted, it was always at the ultimate top range of what we could afford.
Yeah.
We qualified for it, but what I've discovered is just because you qualify for it doesn't mean you need to go and get that. Because
good point.
Because you don't want your whole check to go to your house, and then you have to wonder what you're going to eat. So what we were able to do was to get a range of what
realistically
and so we found homes for the most part in that range, but they were always at the top end. And I can remember the many days and the many nights, early mornings, where I just got before the Lord and said, God, why are you tormenting me? You keep showing me this house. You keep showing me, giving me what I want. And, Sheila was on board, but then as we, after
looking at 200 houses,
after a year or 2 years go past, and I started within myself saying, okay, well, maybe I started asking myself, are you just trying to impress people, because I had a home, and I wanted a bigger home. And I'm at the tail end of my career where I could retire, and it just didn't make sense to anybody but me and God. And so to answer your question, I went through that journey where I started to wonder if I really heard from God, if I really saw what I saw. And so I started compromising. And you guys know some of this story, but we would put contracts on homes where I felt like I was settling, but I just wanted to have my family in a house, and I was embarrassed for being, selling our home and being homeless basically for almost 2 years.
Oh my God, the ridicule we get behind all of that.
So I started to, okay, well, Lord, maybe I don't have faith for this, or maybe I didn't hear you. And, now the fear is setting in. Can we really afford it? I mean, because every place we looked, the taxes were like 10, 15,000. And even our realtor, bless her heart, as my wife said, we laugh at it, but without joking, we probably looked at close to 200 homes in a 2-year period.
And there were times I had just made up my mind that, you know, when he would say, honey, we have an appointment to go see, I'm like, you go look at it. You've seen one house, you've seen them all. Like they all got kitchens, they all got, you know, and I was so over looking at houses because we had been in this apartment for 2 years now. I mean, I figure a year, but 2 years, you know, it just became ridiculous. And I was really tired of one. He said, you remember the house that we looked at last week? I couldn't remember because every house started looking the same. Everything started looking like a cheeseburger. I was just over it.
So as a man, as the leader of my home, as a spiritual leader in my home, I was saying to God, look, I'm looking real bad here, you know? So I started to compromise, but he would never let the deals go through, never let the deals go through. And so, it was a faith walk that was truly tried in the fire.
Very much so.
But on the other side of that, faith prevailed because I ended up getting pretty much what I envisioned. The only thing really missing in this house that I didn't get was the 3-car garage.
The 3-car
horseshoe.
I really wanted a 3-car.
I hear you. But if I may whisper this to you, what that typically means when it's a 3-car garage, it's a longer driveway. And also, let me mic drop this. That also means in those brutal winters that we just maybe getting behind us, you got to shovel more snow.
No, I don't shovel. I snowplow.
Snowplow.
I have a snowblower.
Okay. Spot on. So, John, what I think I'm hearing as you drop your story, your genuine feelings is it's so important to have and assemble your dream team. And your dream team are those 3 or 4 sometimes. And Emily, I'm going to come back to you in a second. That also means your dream team is about cradling you, protecting you, moving you downfield, using a sports analogy, so that eventually when the right home surfaces, which it did for you, boom, you scored your touchdown, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So Emily, let's now pivot to you. Let's hear from you, from your perspective as the team member who had to deliver mortgage money and financing to help them realize their dream. Let me put you on the spot and ask this obvious question because we both are in the business. But for the first-time home buyers who are just starting their journey, what really is the difference between an approval versus something much simpler, like a pre-qualification or a pre-approval? What is the difference?
Well, I can speak for what that means here at Premier because we call it a little bit different. We like to play on names here and we want to be unique. We want people to remember that when they think about Premier Mortgage, when I said pre-approval, it means accelerate. So we accelerate. Most lenders nowadays, they take your loan application, they do a pre-qualification and tell you you're pre-approved, but they only pre-approve you through the computer underwriting system.
Right.
So it's not really a person underwriter that checks off your income, your asset, your credit, and discusses what the conditions might be.
Right.
And at Premier, we go straight to underwriting and we have a quick pre-approval process. And we only need your income because your assets could flow. Your assets could come from different sources, could be a gift, it could be a down payment assistance, or it could be, money coming from your retirement, or it could be you're still saving the money. So my advice to first-time home buyers is I always tell my realtor partners, which in this case, I love the realtor partner that helped our friend John and Sheila. Her name is Tara Weathersby, and I'm gonna plug in her name with Coldwell Banker. And maybe sometime you ought to invite her as well, Bill. She is on the go, and she would always talk to me first about who the client is. And the sooner you get your customer or buyer to a lender is the better. You know, maybe they, like in the case of Sheila and John, I met them towards the tail end of that 2-year period. So I just want you guys to know I'm was I the third or the second lender, John?
Third.
The third.
Yes.
Third.
Okay, so I'm proud to say that along with your help, Bill, we were the last and final lender, which is your one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And we are the final lender that actually made your dream come true. Because had we been the first lender, you would have already bought a year or 2 years ago.
Sure.
But the timing is always, you know, like what you mentioned, God has a purpose for everything, and the timing couldn't be perfect enough that this house is available. And I love the background. I'm looking at your house. You know, this is not the house that, you know, you are looking for in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it came up and you're just ready because we made you ready. And I think the biggest component of how we have really prepared Sheila and John throughout this whole home buying process is that for each and every house that they're looking at, there's different numbers that plays into the picture. So we would give you the range from the low to the high, and then we would talk to you about your budget. Just like John mentioned, just because you can afford it doesn't mean you want to go for it. True. And it needs to be that everything has to work together within your budget stream. And different houses and different locations you were looking at, John and Sheila, you were seeing taxes at, you know, this low or this high. So that takes away a lot of your buying power when you buying a house that it could be a smaller amount, could be a lower price, but your property taxes is so high. So the budget then shrinks, right? And so you would have to contend with those numbers before you make an offer, because once you sign that dotted line, you know, it's kind of hard to get out of it, even though you will probably be able to, as long as you have a pretty good lawyer and that you're within the due diligence period. But the thing of it is, for me, as my philosophy in life is doing everything right the first time.
Yeah.
And if we do the pre-qualification or the pre-approval in the very beginning, when you get a loan approval from Premier, you get an approval signed by an underwriter, not just going through the computer. And the added bonus is that the fact that I have experience in underwriting in the past, because I wear too many hats in my previous life, I do have the tendency to just kind of pre-underwrite a file, already get all your documents that underwriter needs, so that when we give you a pre-approval, all you really need is an appraisal and a title docs. You could close a loan quickly with Premier. Our average closing is like 18 to 22 days from contract to closing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, audience members, as you're watching today's live stream, whether you're watching this live or you're catching this as an on-demand recording, and perhaps like this couple, you're talking to each other, you're thinking, we need to get on our journey with the right team. And if today you don't have the right team, you need to assemble that. Stay tuned until the end. We'll give you a call to action as to how you can absolutely accelerate yourself on the right path to the outcome that you want. So, John, as I wrap up, let me ask your work family to give you a big shout out to celebrate your win. Yes, your work family. There you go. And for the work that you do, you keep those men and women safe in the skies, brother. It's so important, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's so important. All right. So, audience members, I hope you've enjoyed this very casual, candid conversation between John, Sheila, and you for when you may be that first-time home buyer. Learn from their lessons. Yes, it is a roller coaster ride of emotions, but OMG, oh my gosh, the outcome, what's on the other side is so sweet, right, John?
Yes.
Yes. All right, Music Posse, get yourself ready. Let's play us out. Here we go. And by the way, call to action. How can you, yes, I'm calling on you, young first-time buyers, or you, how can you start a journey with the right team? All you got to do is simply scan this QR code. Music Posse, let's give it a wrap. Here we go.